Print on demand is a solid option for a business or a side hustle in 2025. It has been my full-time income since the summer of 2023, and now I'm running my print on demand business fully remote from Vietnam, which is one of the biggest benefits of having a print on demand store. I personally use both Shopify and Etsy, but this video will be Etsy and Printify focused. If you'd like a Shopify version in the future, just let me know in the comment section and I can definitely make one of those, as running a Shopify print on demand business is completely different from running an Etsy print on demand business. By the end of this video, you'll have a very good understanding of niche research, creating print on demand designs, using Printify, using Etsy, and successfully running a print on demand business. It's going to be a long video, but there'll be lots of value, so make sure you watch all the way through, take notes and pay attention. So the first thing you'll need to do when starting your print on demand journey is work out exactly what it is you're selling. So to do this, you need to do a little bit of niche research and get a really good understanding of the market, what's in demand and what will actually sell. Now this can be tricky, and unfortunately a lot of people do fail at the first hurdle. So a lot of people, when starting print on demand, they fall into what I like to call the broad niche trap, and essentially they go into a niche so broad that they'll just never stand out and they'll never make any sales. So a really good example of a broad niche is funny t-shirts, and it's something a lot of people go into when they start print on demand. They just create funny t-shirts for everybody, but the problem is when you're targeting everybody, you're effectively targeting nobody. So what you need to do is niche down, know exactly who you're selling to, and this will make designing and the whole process much easier. You also can't just copy other bestsellers on Etsy and expect to make loads of sales, because those people have spent years and years building their store up, which has led to their listings becoming bestsellers. But what you can do is study bestsellers and learn exactly what it is that makes that item a bestseller. Is it the typography? Is it the layout? Is it the graphics they're using? You have to study bestsellers to understand what makes a design sell on Etsy. Now, a very effective thing to do is start off as a broad niche and then niche down through micro niching and cross niching. So for the purpose of today's video, and what I mean by this is I'm going to target book lovers, and I'm going to niche down, I'm going to micro niche, and I'm going to cross niche, and I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like now. So book lovers is a very good niche to target because it's not only evergreen, but you can also spin it off into seasonal designs. You can target both men and women, and in today's video I'm going to specifically target women who are interested in books. So now I've decided I'm going to create book lover t-shirts for women. The next thing you want to do is go onto Etsy, find bestsellers and really understand why those designs are selling. So you can do this by typing your niche into Etsy. You can see here I've typed in book lover t-shirt for women, and you can go onto Etsy's best, select star seller, and then if you go into the URL up here, change star to best, hit enter. This will show the best sellers for this search term. Now you can't search for bestsellers directly on Etsy, so this is a little workaround and a little hack to help you find bestsellers. So after you've found bestsellers inside your niche, what you want to do next is create a mood board of popular designs that are selling really well. So I've put 6 designs into a mood board here. As you can see, we've got kind of a coquette, girly theme for these first 2. We've got a tarot card reader for the second one, which is kind of a cross niche between tarot reading and actually reading books. As you can see here, we've got the reader. That can be interpreted in 2 different ways and kind of cross niches between 2 different interests. We've got this one, which is just a funny slogan, which is arched with a graphic in the middle. We've got this one, which is just simple single colour white line art. And then we've got this final one, which is like a vintage retro illustration style with a slogan. This kind of design is very popular across multiple different niches on Etsy at the minute. So yeah, this is the mood board I've gone for after doing a little bit of research on Etsy. Now we can also use third-party apps such as Everbee and eRank to help understand how well products are selling. So Everbee is integrated into Etsy, and you can access it by installing it and clicking this little bee icon which appears on the listing. and then that will pull up loads of data about the listing. You can see the estimated monthly revenue, the estimated monthly sales, how long it's been active for, as well as what tags this seller is using on the listing. eRank works in a very similar way, but it's its own website. So with eRank, you go onto the website, you type in your niche. For example, I've put book lover in here. You can then see the search volume, what months it spikes, and just the average monthly search volume for that term. But the best thing about eRank, you can go down here to the related search terms. You can change the filters. So what I like to do is go from lowest competition to highest competition and just flick through these pages until I see something I like. So one that caught my eye was Bachelorette book lover, and as you can see, the search volume peaked in March. Now you will see it's dropped off in April and May, but typically with eRank, their data is sometimes a little bit behind and doesn't update as quick as it maybe should. So I think this search term is a very good one to target because, as you can see, 1,000 searches in March and very, very, very low competition. So for the purpose of today's video, I'm going to be making t-shirt designs for this particular micro niche within the book lover broad niche. Okay, so now we've worked out our niche and we know exactly what we're going to be creating, it's time to move on to actually designing products to sell. So for the purpose of today's video, I'm going to show you how to create designs with AI. Now it's completely up to you how you create your print-on-demand designs. Personally, for the last year or two, I've used a combination of Canva and Photoshop, but AI is becoming increasingly more and more popular every single day, so it only seems right to teach you how to create print-on-demand designs with AI in 2025. So for today's video, I'm going to be using ChatGPT, Ideogram and Playground. Now you might think using 3 different AI tools is a little bit overboard, but they've all got their own purpose, and I'll show you exactly why I decided to use ChatGPT, Ideogram and Playground for this video. So first things first, I sent ChatGPT my mood boards and I said, these are the types of designs that are popular in the book niche. What would be the most appropriate to turn into a book lover bachelorette design? And ChatGPT analysed my mood board. It said what's trending across these designs. So obviously we got the girly style, the retro graphics, the clever wordplay, the line art, and the tarot card one. It recommended the best concepts to twist into a bachelorette design, and it also said what wouldn't work very well for bachelorette designs. So then I said, right, let's go for the coquette girly theme to kick things off, and I asked for a list of slogans that would fit that style. And one that I really liked is this bottom one here. Hot girls read smut and say I do. Now I really like this one because not only are you taking the broad niche of book lovers, micro niching down into bachelorette designs, but you're further micro niching by targeting girls who are interested in a specific genre. So after that I said to ChatGPT, could you give me the ideogram prompt for hot girls read smut and say I do? Remember, we need it to be coquette and girly style. ChatGPT came back with the ideogram prompt. Here it is. So I went ahead, I put that in ideogram and I generated a design, and this was the outcome. As you can see, this design here matches the coquette style from the mood board. It's got the girly elements, similar kind of font, and the graphics are illustrated in a similar way. So after Ideogram gave me this image, you have to upscale it and remove the background. Now you can remove the background within Ideogram, but personally I find Playground not only removes the background much more efficiently, but it also upscales the image a lot better. So I took this image, exported it as a PNG, and then I put it into Playground and I upscaled it and removed the background. And then this was the final outcome from Playground. Now, as you can see, it's not quite perfect because it removed the colours from the sparkles, and it also left this blue shadow underneath the books, which I don't think would work very well on a t-shirt. So I took this design into Photoshop, replicated the sparkles, replaced the ones that it deleted, and I also removed the shadow. And then this is the final product after using ChatGPT, Ideogram, Playground, and then slightly altering it in Photoshop. Okay, so now we have our design. It's time to put our design onto a product for a print-on-demand supplier who will ship and fulfill our orders on our behalf. And the print-on-demand supplier I'm going to use for today's video is Printify. Now, Printify is the main print-on-demand supplier that I use for my Shopify and Etsy business. I find they've got the most product variability. The prices are very, very fair, so it allows you to get anywhere from a 30 to a 50% profit margin, depending what product you pick. And the shipping times are very good, as they've got a lot of printers worldwide that you can choose from. So first things first, you want to make a Printify account and connect your Etsy store. So it's very simple. Create an account, go over to the top left here and click connect a new store, and then just select Etsy, sync the two, and then that's it. Your Printify account is connected to your Etsy account. Now you need to do this because by doing this, it means when you create a product through Printify, that product will automatically sync to Etsy. So then when you get an order on Etsy, your Etsy will sync to your Printify, and then Printify will be able to fulfill your Etsy orders on your behalf. So now we've linked our Etsy store to our Printify account, it's time to put our design onto products. So the good thing with Printify, like I say, they offer a huge range of products, which means you can put your design on pretty much anything you can think of. So as you can see, they've got men's clothing, women's clothing, kids clothing, food, health, beauty, accessories, as well as home and living. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go for t-shirts. T-shirts is something I've sold a lot of with print on demand, so it only feels right to show you my process when listing a t-shirt onto Etsy. So I'm going to go women's t-shirts, and I'm going to go for the Gildan 5000. Now the Gildan 5000, as you can see, is a bestseller, and it's a very good one to use because the quality is good and it offers a very good profit margin. So what you want to do is click on the t-shirt of choice, and here is where you can select your printer. Now what I recommend doing is selecting a printer from the country you're from. So in my case, it would be United Kingdom. Now this doesn't mean you can't sell to Europe, doesn't mean you can't sell to America. It just means you have to have order routing enabled, but we'll talk about that later. But for now, I'm just going to select Shirt Monkey and I'm going to click Start Designing. So this is now where you upload your design onto a product. So as you can see here, I've gone ahead and I've uploaded the Hot Girls Read Smut and Say I Do Book Lover Bachelorette design onto a t-shirt, and I've also selected black, light blue and light pink. There's other colours you can select, but I think for this design in particular and the kind of audience we're targeting, white, black, light blue and light pink work perfectly. I also think it's not worth offering 15-20 colours, because what you will do here is you will give your buyers buyer fatigue. You want to keep it quite slim in what you're offering, just so when people go to your store they know exactly what they're getting and they don't have tons and tons and tons of colours to pick from. So yeah, like I say, light pink, light blue, black and white works very well for this design. Okay, so after you've put your design onto your chosen product, the next thing you want to do is decide which mockups you want to use for your product. Now there's no right or wrong way to make mockups for your print-on-demand design. A lot of people buy their mockups off Etsy, they create their own with AI and then alter them in Canva or Photoshop, or you can select mockups directly through Printify. Now Printify recently made quite an exciting integration with Placeit, as you can see here, and essentially Placeit is a mockup website where you can access thousands of mockups for loads of different products. So as you can see here, I simply typed in women's t-shirt, and then Placeit has given me different women's t-shirts back, which I can put my design onto. And using good mockups just really helps you make your products stand out, which is really important on Etsy because there's so many listings to compete with. So if you've got a strong thumbnail, strong mockup images, then that will make your listing really stand out. So I'm just going to go and sort my mock-up images out, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what I've decided to go with. Okay, so I've now decided what mock-ups I'm going to use, and I just want to show you exactly how my listing will look. So this would be the thumbnail image. As you can see, I've got the design on a flat lay mock-up with some relevant clothing accessories around it. I've got the design on a model, so the buyer can see how it will look in person. And then I've got a flat lay on a white t-shirt. This is from Printify. I just changed the colour of the background to make it stand out a little bit more. And then pretend this is the store logo. I've got a little bit of information about shipping. We're partnered with multiple production hubs around the globe, meaning that shipping is quick, cheap, and in 99% of cases there'll be no customs fees. This is because Printify is partnered with printers around the world. Basically, if you've got a US order, your order is shipped and printed from the US. If you've got a UK order, it's shipped and printed from the UK. Or if you've got a European order, it's shipped and printed from the closest European printer. Same goes for Australia, New Zealand, etc. But moving on, I've got the same flat lay on pink with a different background. I've got another info pic, and then I've got another flat lay here with some flowers, again to go with the bachelorette theme. Then I've got the flat lay blue t-shirt. I got the size guide. This is from Printify, and I just added the mock-up logo. Then I've got the t-shirt on black. So I can now save all of these photos, upload them onto Printify, which I've done up here. And then once I click publish or save as draft, these photos will automatically sync over to Etsy, and then I can rearrange them over onto Etsy. Okay, so moving on now, I want to talk about smart pricing and how you should price your products on Etsy. So first things first, ignore the title and description. I like to edit the title and description in Etsy later on after I've done a little bit of SEO research. But for now, I'm just going to go over to the pricing and talk about kind of how I structure my pricing on Etsy. So what you can do is offer free shipping, and by offering free shipping, you get a free shipping badge on your listing, which can look a little more appealing in search. And what I've found in my experience is having free shipping as an incentive does increase sales. And you might think free shipping causes you to lose out on profits, but you've got to think of it like this. If you charge £20 plus £4 shipping, that's £24 all in, or you could charge £23.95 plus free shipping, and it's essentially the same price, but to a customer it looks better because they're getting free shipping, even though realistically they're not getting free shipping, it's just included in the price, and it's kind of a little trick you can use to make your offer and your pricing look better. So that's one thing you can do when you're pricing smart on Etsy. And another thing you can do is price at $19.95, $18.95, $17.95, for example, rather than using whole numbers like 18, 19 and 20. It has been proven if you price $19.95, $19.98, that it actually does increase your conversion as it looks cheaper, even though it's more or less the same price. And my last little tip for pricing smart and getting noticed on Etsy is if you offer your t-shirts in bigger, unpopular sizes like 3XL, 4XL, 5XL. Now, because these sizes very rarely get ordered, what you can do is you can drop the price to a 3XL to $17.95, for example. 4XL, you can drop it to $16.95, and 5XL, you can drop it to $15.95. Now, you might think, why would you do this? Because you're making barely any profit by doing this. But the reason you do this is because in Etsy, when you search for an item, it will show your item price at $15.95, $16.95, $17.95, whatever the lowest price is. And then when the customer clicks the item, goes to buy it, they will see the prices for the other sizes once they're already on the listing. So that's just a little trick you can use to increase your clicks and get people actually on your listing. So now I want to move on and talk about understanding your profit margin, because this is again where a lot of people go wrong with print on demand. They're not entirely sure how much their items cost in the end, so they price wrong and then they end up making a very small profit, or in some cases, unfortunately, losing out on money. Now, Printify is very, very good because, like I said earlier, their pricing is very, very competitive. But what makes them even more competitive is Printify Premium. Now, Printify Premium is a subscription service. It's £25 a month, I believe, or you get a discount if you get it annually. I signed up to the annual subscription because Printify Premium offers 20% off a lot of items, so this helps with your profit margins. And again, inside the item editor, they also have a calculator which tells you your profit on different variants. So as you can see here, you can toggle free shipping on or off. You can also toggle Etsy offsite ads on and off, change it from 12 to 15%. So Etsy offsite ads is a service offered by Etsy where they advertise on your behalf on places like Pinterest and Google. You can opt into this, you can opt out to this, but Printify makes it very easy to see if it's worthwhile for your products. So for example, I toggle offsite ads on and I can see that I still make a profit margin of just under 30% with offsite ads on, or if I turn them off, I make a profit margin of 40%. So in this case, because the Printify pricing is very competitive, you can turn offsite ads on and still make a healthy profit. And as you can see here, if I edit the prices, change it to $22.95, you can see that updates my profit margin. It takes into account the Etsy fee, which is around 10 to 15%, depending where in the world you sell to. So yeah, the Etsy pricing and profit calculator makes it very clear on how much you make per order. So I recommend just going into this, getting comfortable with how much you're spending on a product, how much you should be selling it for, and what prices you should be selling your items for. So for me personally, I like to sell my t-shirts at between $19.95 to $23.95. So if I set again, like I say, if I edit the price, change it to $19.95, that gives me a very healthy profit margin of 39 to 42% with offsite ads enabled. So that's a profit margin I'm very happy with. Before I go on to the next part of the video, I just want to say I'll leave a link to sign up to Printify down below. So if you do want to start your own print on demand company, then sign up to Printify and get started today. Remember, with print on demand, you only pay when you make a sale, meaning that starting a print on demand business is more or less risk-free. The barrier to entry is very, very low, as you need no upfront cost, no expensive equipment, and you don't need to hold any inventory. Moving on to the next part now, publishing the product from Printify to Etsy. So we've put all of our mockups here. We've left the title blank, we've left the description pre-filled because we're going to edit these properly in Etsy shortly. Again, leave the tags blank. Shipping profile, I've made my own custom shipping profile, but it's up to you if you go with the Printify prices, make your own shipping profile or offer free shipping, completely up to you. We've set our prices at $19.95. A little trick I like to have here is show all variants as available for purchase. I find this is the best option because again, Printify, they help you out here, and if an item is out of stock on Printify, they make it very, very simple and they offer product alternatives where the sizing is very similar, the product type is very similar. So if an item is ever out of stock on Printify, due to Printify's huge catalogue, there will be another item that you can send out, no problem. So yeah, have show all variants as available for purchase, and then what I like to do, hide in store and save it as a draft, and then we'll go into Etsy now and we'll edit the SEO, things like that, and get it ready for publishing. The listing is nearly done now, and I want to talk about SEO and what you should be doing before you actually publish your listing and make it live on the platform. So as you can see, you can have a maximum of 140 characters for your title, so you want to make the most of this, but you don't want to just keyword stuff. you want to make sure your title reads fluently and it just kind of flows. So you don't just want to be throwing in a load of keywords for the sake of it. So as you can see here, I've put hot girls read smut and say I do t-shirt. It says exactly what it is. Book lover, bachelorette t-shirt, coquette smut bridal party tee, romance reader wedding gift. So for me, that's a very, very strong title. And what I've done here is I've targeted long tail keywords. So long tail keywords are essentially phrases that buyers would type in to find this product. And these are separated essentially by the commas. So as you can see, romance reader wedding gift, that is a long tail keyword that a customer might type in to find this product. Similarly to this, book lover bachelorette t-shirt, that's a long tail keyword that a buyer is very likely to type in to find this listing. Moving on to my photos, you can see I've put them in the correct order now. So I've gone for this one for the thumbnail. As you can see, it's going to look very clean on the Etsy search, which is exactly what we want. I've gone for a lifestyle mock-up, then a bit of shipping information, a flat lay, another flat lay, some colour variants, as well as some more shipping information and a size guide. So moving on to the description. So I chat GPT'd this bit and I just said, write me a short keyword and SEO optimized description for this design. That's the title, so retarget keywords that I've put in the title and make it a little bit funny. So it's done just that. It's put some emojis in and it's made it very readable. Now this bit here is a template that I use for all of my listings, and this is essentially just essential information that goes in all of my listings. So this new GPSR is some new information that the European Union make you include in your listings now if you sell into Europe. So if you aren't familiar with GPSR, I can make a future video on that. If there's enough demand, just let me know in the comment section and I'll talk about GPSR. So yeah, that is essentially what I include in every listing, and then I'll change the top bit so it's relevant to the particular listing. Moving on, I just want to add as well, if you add a video to your listing, supposedly listings with videos do rank higher, so I just thought I'd throw that piece of information in. So if you are creating listings on Etsy, I do recommend adding a video to your listing. It can be very simple. It can be an animated AI mock-up of somebody wearing your t-shirt. It can be a slideshow of an infographic. The choice is yours. For my main print-on-demand store, I use a customer UGC video of how my product fits. I use the same video for every listing. Moving on, I've got the tags. Now, Etsy, you can have 13 tags and they can be 20 characters each. So again, similar to what we did in the title, with your tags, you want to target long tail keywords. You can find good long tail keywords to target with Everbee and eRank. Again, if there's enough demand, I'll make a separate tutorial on both Everbee and eRank in the future if you want me to. So yeah, as you can see, I've added all 13 tags. I've filled out the description and I've filled out the title and I've sorted the photos. So that is exactly how I would do SEO in 2025. Long tail keywords and make sure everything is relevant and readable. Moving on, I just want to talk about some final checks before going live, because it is very easy to miss some things out on Etsy if you're new to the interface, as it can be quite overwhelming. So like I say, just make sure your title's filled out, make sure all your photos are in the right order, make sure your thumbnail fits. You can use this little adjustment thing if you've used the wrong thumbnail size, just to make sure that it really looks the part when people search for it on Etsy. Make sure your description is filled out and you're answering any FAQs. So you can see here, I've got, if you're looking for something specific, please message us, as we do custom designs. That shows that my store does custom designs. I've got stuff about issues with orders and just about confirming your order, double check everything's right. So always throw in a few FAQs in your description. Moving on, manage variations. Now, Etsy don't automatically link the colours with your photos, so you can just go in here, select light blue, light pink, etc., and just make sure they're all filled out. That just means that when a buyer is on your listing, if they click light pink, the photo will automatically change to pink, so on and so forth. That's just a good little thing to have on your listing. Moving on, you need to make sure you've selected a production partner. So as you can see here, I've selected Printify as my production partner. Now Etsy make it so that you have to declare if you're using a print-on-demand company to help you fulfill your items. So just make sure you've got a production partner set up for your listing. Just make sure the category is right. So I've got gender neutral clothing, so it appears in both men's and women's clothing. That's just a way to get your listing shown in more places. So if I just put this in men's or put this in women's, then I'd exclude a gender. Even though this is more targeted towards women, you never know, you might get men buying this for their girlfriends, for their fiance, for their wife. You never know. So it's always just good to include it in both sections. Moving on, I personally don't fill in stuff like primary colour just because I offer multiple colours per design. Yeah, like I say, make sure your tags are filled out. Your delivery, your shipping profile is all sorted. And finally, make sure your return policy is set to however you want to take returns. Personally, I let my buyers have 30 days to return it. It's very, very, very rare that I get a return, but I just like to give my buyers peace of mind. And also, renewal options, I like to change this to automatic. Etsy, they default have it on manual, so if you want this listing to be on Etsy forever, just select automatic here and then you're good to go. So that is pretty much my process for creating one Etsy listing, but of course it doesn't stop there, and we've got to keep on repeating that process, optimizing and working out exactly what sells within our chosen niche. Like I say, in today's video we chose the broad niche, which was book lovers, and we micro niched and cross niched down into bachelorette designs and the smut genre, targeting a very, very niche audience. Now, will this design sell? I've got no idea, but you can only test it and see what happens. That's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you found this tutorial useful, and if you haven't started your Etsy store yet and you want to sign up for Printify, remember I'll leave the link for Printify down below. And any other tools that I used throughout today's video, I'll also link those below so you can get started as soon as possible.